We move on to proof. So how to prove the crime of zina? We said this so many times, either by confession or by the testimony of 4 Muslim male witnesses. And the confession has to be absolutely clear that it was a penetrative intercourse, because somebody comes and says, oh Sheikh, purify me, I have committed adultery and I'm a fornicator, I'm abiding in hell forever, you have to clean me. I said, what did you do? He said, I had fornicated with that woman. I said, okay, if I am quick to give my verdict and put him in jail and stone him tomorrow or flog him tomorrow, I would be doing a grave mistake. Why is that? Simply because I have to inquire, what did you actually do? In so many cases, people think that lying down nude with another person is zina. Touching and hugging and kissing is zina. And this is not true. The actual zina is counted with penetrative intercourse, where the man's penis is inserted in a woman's vagina. And there is a saying when people talk about this, and they say there is no bashfulness in Islam, before they say something that is French. And this is not a true statement. All of Islam is based on bashfulness. But we say what the companions said and what Allah said in the Quran. La haya'a fid din. This is wrong. Inna Allah la yastahyi min al-haq. This is right. So you do not say there is no bashfulness in Islam. This is wrong. You say Allah is not bashful of truth. Allah is not shy of truth. So sometimes when we explain things, it has to be said in black and white. You cannot beat around the bush. So this is penetrative intercourse or sex. This is what is called zina. So the judge has to hear it described clearly by the person before giving his ruling. And this is why the Prophet did this. He asked Ma'az, maybe you kissed, maybe you hugged, maybe you touched, until he completely made it clear that this was not the case. One of the conditions of such a confession is that an individual has to stick with or by his confession throughout the whole process. What do you mean? So if I confess of such a heinous crime, and they take my word and they issue the punishment, and the following day I said, no, I didn't do it. Ya akhi, you said you did it. We have it on tape. No, I did not do it. I retract my statement. Yeah, but you signed. Too late. I said, no, I didn't do it. If he retracts, if he does not stick by his confession, we must accept that and halt and stop the punishment. Ya Sheikh, what do you mean? Ma'az ibn Malik, when he was sentenced to death by stoning, the moment they started stoning him and he felt the pain of the rocks falling on his body, he tried to run away. So they ran after him and kept on stoning him until someone hit him with a big stone in his head and killed him. So when they went to the Prophet ﷺ and told him about how he ran away, the Prophet regretted that and said, ﷺ, you should have let him escape. He was tried, convicted by confession, and he was being executed, yet the Prophet said, you should have let him escape. Be sincere once in your life and tell me, is Islam a bloodthirsty religion? Would this happen anywhere on earth? If Islam was bloodthirsty religion, the Prophet would not have showed mercy to such a person who committed such a crime, confessed, and was sentenced to death. He would have told them, you did the right thing. You killed him. That's good. But he didn't. He said, as long as he had a room to retract his confession, you should have stopped. Gave him the benefit of the doubt. Islam is not a bloodthirsty religion. Islam does not want people to die, to suffer. But Islam is a fair and just religion. The other type of proof, other than the confession, is the testimony of 4 witnesses. Allah says in the Quran, why did they who slandered not produce for it 4 witnesses? And when they do not produce the witnesses, then it is they in the sight of Allah who are the liars. In order for their testimony to be accepted and to be implemented, there are conditions. 1, there must be 4 of them together. So if 3 come, this doesn't count, and they will be punished for slandering. There have to be 4 of them. 2, the witnesses must be sane adults. So children don't count, crazy people or mentally challenged don't count. 3, they must be men, and not only any normal men, men of integrity. So you don't bring pimps or junkies or strippers to make such an accusation. They have to be men with integrity. If you bring 100 women testifying, this would not do, because they must be 4 male Muslims. Number 4, the witnesses must have seen the act of adultery. So it's not enough to see a man on top of a woman and both of them are nude. No, it doesn't count. They have to describe it in detail. So their description has to be graphic, by saying, yes, I saw the man's penis entering and being inserted in the woman's vagina. And of course, this is almost impossible unless it comes from a particular angle. And it is impossible for a man to continue doing his thing when 4 at that particular angle are watching and witnessing. So it is almost impossible to have 4 witnesses doing that. And it shows you that Islam is not bloodthirsty religion. And the witnesses must be Muslims, and they must give their testimony in the same session. We don't take a testimony of a man on Saturday, the second man is on Monday, the third and the fourth are on Wednesday. They have to be at the same particular time. Otherwise, that would be slandering if these conditions are not fulfilled. One says, okay, Sheikh, I have a tricky question. How about if we place an HD camera and we record the angle, we record the whole thing? Would that be sufficient? The answer is no. This is not sufficient. Sheikh, but we have an HD, high definition camera, and the resolution is so clear, so graphic. No, this doesn't count. So Sheikh, 100 women don't count. And the video footage does not count. Why is that? Because this is a Sharia ruling. and not something that is logical. So a third person says, okay, now I think I've got it. So no videos and no women. What about DNA, Sheikh? If we have the DNA to prove that this and that happened, all of these are circumstantial evidences, cannot stand in a court of law, in a court of Sharia, to implement such a prescribed punishment. Yes, circumstantial evidences have weight in Islam. I can, as a judge, lock him up for 5 years, 10 years, due to the circumstantial evidences. But the prescribed punishment of stoning or of flogging cannot be implemented without these conditions fulfilled as mentioned in the Quran.